Hello. Today's Tuesday, January 12th, and I'm in Napanee, Ontario. Pilot Flying J. And yesterday, Monday, I delivered the drill rig in the port, and I waited there like 3 hours. My appointment was for 11. I was there right on the money, but by the time I, passed all the gates and I was oversized, I had to wait for people to escort me, and I found the place where they unload you. Like there's a rigging kind of like station, like a parking area, and I see huge forklifts, and I went to see the guy. The guy says, "Oh, just wait there. We have 4 trucks ahead of you." And I said, "Excuse me, sir, I got a lowboy trailer, right? RGN. That's what they're for. I don't need anybody. I just unhook and drive off into the sunset, right?" The guy says, no sunset. Don't park on floor. French. French stevedores. They said, don't park on floor. Basically, don't put it on the ground. Okay, so I'm sitting there 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Then I see all the trucks are gone, so I'm just going in there, take their space. And finally, and I see that they're gonna load this drill rig on. They're not gonna, just lift it on the ship. They have these huge platforms, kind of like, I don't know, like the length of my trailer, and it has like walls like this, but it's kind of like open platform and just 2 walls on the front and on the back, but the sides are open, and it's a very thick steel platform. And basically they're gonna tie it down to that one, and then they can put it on the ship. I think that's because I saw a whole bunch of those platforms over there. And my ticket, they gave me a ticket with my platform number, and as soon as I showed that to this guy, who was supposed to unload me, he started cussing in French, because that platform was probably buried somewhere in the middle. They have a whole bunch of empty ones. But anyway, so finally, the guy comes over to me. He says, "Oh yeah, we're ready for you. So unpin, drive it on the ground." I said, "Wait a second. I thought you told me not to put it on the floor. I could have done it like 2 hours ago." "Oh no, we're not ready for you. Now we're ready." Okay. Okay, my engine starts. It was like -7, very windy, very bad, and there's dust for some reason. There's a whole bunch of dirt on the asphalt, and it just flows. I had to wear my safety glasses because it was, getting into my eyes. Now I want to take a shower here at the pilot because it even went in there because my shirt in the back is open, the sweater. I had some dirt, like unbelievable. Very dirty port, and so my engine, my Honda started. Thank you Cambridge Mac for fixing it, like push button. A couple of times I tried, but I don't have to pull the cord anymore. Zing. You just have to find the right position of the choke, and combination of choke and that gas little lever works beautifully. I unhooked, no problems. So the Honda started. I dropped the trailer, I unhook. Now next step is I lock the door, like is normally they always want you to lock the door of the machine so that nobody, some kids might climb inside, start fooling around. So you don't want to leave, especially you want to lock it, and at least don't leave the key in the cab, right? So I locked it. There was a key. I locked the door, and while I was waiting actually for them to tell me what to do, I tried to open the door. I couldn't. I forgot which key it was. There was like 3 on the ring. I tried all of them. Well, except I know there was one key, like to start. It was like a weird looking key, kind of like from it's very remarkable key. So I know that one was for the ignition lock, but there were 3 keys for something, and that machine had all kinds of departments on both sides. So some of those were for those locks, but I needed to open the door. I couldn't open the door, so basically now I'm unhooked. I'm away from the trailer, and the guy says, "Okay, you ready?" I said, "Well, I cannot open the door." So we tried and tried. They tried. I tried with all keys. The guy even took a hammer, tried to hammer it in. Nothing. So finally, they brought some, those what do you call it? Basically, a piece of metal, you know, like a shim. And we tried to do that, didn't work. So they finally said, we need a drill. So he brings me a drill, like, and shows, you do it. Like, you know, those guys over there, they didn't speak very good English. And he puts like a tiny little drill, does nothing. So I start drilling. I thought, you know, like I saw in movies, you can drill out the lock. Forget that. Do we even change another drill, like a bigger one? This drill was so weak, you know, we just messed up the lock. And the guy says, well, it's my time, I have to leave. Can you imagine the situation? I'm inside the port. My dispatcher already sent me a message saying that there's a reload. I'm picking up a machine in Montreal. I'm just western side, and I'm like, okay. And I asked him about the price, pays pretty good. And now I cannot unlock the stupid door, and because of that, of course, I was looking at the glass on the windshield, like on the glass on both sides was cracked. But I know it's not a good idea to, you know, break the window, you know. So the guy left me there, took the drill, and I have a couple of my own, this shimming devices. So I was fooling around with the door for like an hour probably. So finally managed to open it, you know, like forced it open and left it open. And I'm thinking, okay, I know I don't want to close it, so I'll go get a bungee cord. And it's open, but that lock that, you know, on excavators where you open and it holds the door in the open position against the body of the excavator, this lock doesn't work on there. So, but you know, there was no wind, like very little wind, so I just pushed it in like that. So I went to get the bungee cord. I come back, the door is locked. The wind blew right at that moment when I went to get the bungee cord. The wind blew and the door shut. It was shut again. I pulled the, you know, the handle, but of course the lock doesn't work, you know. Jesus, I had to go get back my shimming things. And you have to use two, you know, like basically that's what I thought, you know, like the logic. You cannot just open it with one, where you try to put it inside between the door and the frame. You have to use two spots, you know, and that's how I open it. So I had to do it second time. This time I already have the bungee cord. I'm not leaving, so I hooked up the bungee cord. Jesus, that was quite an adventure. So it started. I just waited a few minutes. Then it died, the engine. Then it started again, and it worked fine. So I just drove it off. And the guy told me, just don't go on the platform. He says you can just park it in front of that platform. They'll deliver it, and they'll drive it on the next day, which is today. So I left the bungee cord in there. I hope they understood that you cannot close the door. As soon as you close the door, that's it. Then you have to find a way to open it again without a key. So anyway, and then after that, I drove to the west side of Montreal. It's called the Claire Point. It's like a suburb, but it's already still Montreal, still on the island. And it was already getting dark, and I was picking up a very heavy, big excavator, 78,000 pounds. And I went inside. They were still open, but I knew they were closing like in 15 minutes, the shipping department. And I said, guys, I don't want to mess with this thing. You know, it's a huge excavator, and it's dark, and it's cold. I want to stay here and come back at 7 o'clock. And the guy says, well, you want to sleep? Are you going to sleep in the truck? And that's kind of like, you know, a loaded question. Do you say yes or no? Oh, no, I'm going to, you know, fly to Florida and then come back in the morning. And I said, yeah. And the guy said, well, then you better do it across the street. We have a parking lot across the street, also belongs to us, this Caterpillar dealer. Huge Caterpillar dealer. Like, I don't know, 10 square kilometers, 4.5 square miles. No, really big. Like the place where they were shipping machinery was the size of this truck stop. I'm serious. And then they had a whole bunch of big buildings. Looked like a plant. Anyway, and the guy says, oh yeah, if you want to sleep, just go across the street and park over there. And I look, and he showed me it's like an asphalt, you know, parking lot, empty, because he says over here you won't be able to sleep. So actually the guy was asking me, because he says we move machines and there's constant traffic here, so it's very loud. So he said even 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning, something is happening here. And so I'm okay, and so I set my alarm for 6:30, and 7 o'clock I was there. And the night before I found a restaurant like 1 kilometer, went for a walk. It's like so freezing cold, you know. It's not just the temperature but the wind. So I had to wear my favorite red hat, but now it's only 0 Celsius or 32 F. And so it took me 3 hours to load. The guy drove the machine on, almost fell off once. He had to do it 3 times, you know. I thought I was bad. And they say, you want us to load? I said, well, you know, it's 78,000 pounds, 77 something. So here's my scale ticket. I don't know if you can see it. So my steer axle right now is basically 12,000. My drives and the lift axle is 52,580. And my trailer is like 59,620. And my gross weight right now is 124,280. And let's just calculate. So what's the weight of this machine? Because I know my empty weight. 124,280 minus 47. Let's see, 47,000. I know I'm 47,400 when I have full tanks, but right now I'm like 75%. So we'll just say 47. So yeah, 77,280 pounds. So that's what, and the paperwork actually said the same. So basically 77,000 pounds divided by 2.2. So basically 35 metric tons. So I know lots of guys in Europe will say they move this with a 1-axle truck. So if you do that for breakfast and then for the supper, you probably should just stop watching and switch to something with heavy loads, because for you this is not heavy. For me this is heavy. It's dangerous, and that's why I shut down so early, because it was snowing like crazy in Kingston. Just east of here there was one spin out, like the guy basically jackknifed. I guess the traffic stopped and he tried to turn the wheel and he just ended up on in the ditch, and the trailer is like sitting across the street. There's a jam was like, I don't know, 5 miles long, you know. And on that was on the other side. On this side, on westbound, I saw 2 cars in the ditch. There's like police everywhere, and I'm thinking, okay, I called my dispatcher, said it's snowing and the ground is covered with snow. I better shut down, because, you know, oversized loads are not allowed to travel in this weather. And as soon as we pass Kingston, this kind of weather is setting, you know. So it's probably okay on the other side, but I see a whole bunch of oversized loads sitting here, you know. And over there, far in the distance, there's a cab over Kenworth with those farm tractors. But the sky, if you look at the sky, that's snow. And let's go see the load, shall we? Unless, if you're not the European truck driver I mentioned before. If you're a European truck driver, you don't want to see this because you'll be laughing. But if you're a regular American or Canadian driver, I can show you my load. And this one is actually pretty good, pretty decent load. So from Montreal, Quebec to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Excellent. So let's go see. Yeah, there's no snow, so I can use the camera outside. And there you have it. A Hitachi 350 LC. You know, a monster. I had to use my boards because you see, like, it's 50-50, but that's the middle of the track. It's already on the edge of the trailer, and it's a good thing I did that because it's slippery, right? And the last thing you wanna have is have this machine slip sideways on you. And over here I used I really love these shackles, you know. I use these shackles. There's holes in there, but they're too small. You cannot put the hook in there. So I put 2 shackles. So 2 chains in the front, like this, 2 in the back and then 2 on each side on the tracks, and 1 chain on the boom on the bucket. And I just learned this is the best way. That's what I do. I just, you know, flip it, the bucket like this, and we just put the timber under there. And you can see even like one of my boards, sometimes I just put 2 boards. Yeah, see, so this can have this can create very bad visibility on the highway. So lots of snow, you know, you cannot drive. So I'm very glad that I shut down, so I can you know, go have a shower, because see what these guys over here, they're sitting, those oversized guys, they were here before me, so I guess they shut down. You see that you cannot drive like this. And so, and it was getting dark at 5 today, so I only had like 1 hour left to drive, and that would put me in an area where there's no decent truck stop. Yeah, and so that's why, like, you know, I wanted to take a shower, and over here they have Denny's, so I have some good food, you know. Well, it's not top of the line, but it's much better than, you know, a regular place you go. They just have a Subway, you know, sandwiches or something. I hate those. Over here they have full-size restaurant. They open 24/7, and so that's what I'm doing. Just shut down. I have all my paperwork done. I have all my customs paperwork. Basically, sorry, I'm ready to cross. Oh my god. But I'm still like 3.5 hours away from the border. So hopefully they're gonna clean up the roads by tomorrow, and I can start driving half an hour before sunrise. And that's the plan for tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Sorry for the long video, but there was something overlapping from the previous delivery, so I thought it would be interesting to some people to know. Like, it was quite an adventure getting that thing off my trailer, that drill rig. And there was a very cool Western Star sitting next to me, but this guy came. It's also a Western Star, but it's just a basic truck, right? But over there, that guy has he has the Australian style air intakes. I don't know if the camera will show, like from, it's not too far, but yeah, it has aerodynamic mirrors, so it's kind of the same type of Western Star classic truck with a square hood, only that one has those interesting intakes, you know. It has some lights, lots of lights on it, basically shows the pride of ownership. And over there we have another cab over, some, you know, 100 feet away, oversized load, Freightliner with a tiny sleeper. And we have what, Volvo, Freightliner, and I don't see what else we have around me here. Now the Freightliner. Well, we're all one big happy family here. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.